given to us at the Intendencia. The house in size is a palace, and the apartments innumerable. The dinner very elegant, and the dessert arranged in another room, a curiosity as usual, for profusion and variety. Her Majesty's health was proposed by Don B h, and so well timed, that all the guns of the forts fired a salute, it being sunset, just as the toast was concluded, which was drank with real enthusiasm and hearty good will. According to Spanish custom, the aristocracy generally se touchent and call each other by their Christian names. Indeed, they are almost all connected by intermarriages. You may guess at an inferior in rank only by their increased respect towards him. We stood on the balcony in the evening. The scene was beautiful. The temperature rather warm, yet delicious, from the softness of the breeze. The moon rose so bright that she seemed like the sun shining through a silvery veil. Groups of figures were sauntering about in the square under the trees, and two bands, having stationed themselves with lamps and music, played alternately pieces from Mozart and Bellini. We regretted leaving so delightful a scene for the theatre, where we arrived in time to hear La Pantanilli sing an aria, dressed in helmet and theatre of tacon tunic, and to see La Jota Aragonesa danced by two handsome Spanish girls in good style. One evening we went to the theatre of Tacon, to the Captain General's box. It is certainly a splendid house, large, airy, and handsome. The play was the Campanero de San Pablo, which, though generally liked, appears to me a complicated and unnatural composition, with one or two interesting scenes. The best actor was he who represented the blind man. The chief actress is an overgrown dame, all fat and dimples, who kept up a constant sobbing and heaving of her chest, yet never getting rid of an eternal smirk upon her face. A bolero, danced afterwards by two Spanish damsels in black and silver, were very refreshing. 23rd. To-morrow we sail in the Jason, should the wind not prove contrary. Visits, dinners, and parties have so occupied our time that to write has been next to impossible. Of the country we have, from the same reason, seen little, and the people we are only acquainted with in full dress, which is not the way to judge of them truly. One morning, indeed, we dedicated to viewing the works of the Intendente, the railroad, and the water filterers. He and the Countess and a party of friends accompanied us. The country through which the railroad passes is flat and rather monotonous; nevertheless, the quantity of wild flowers, which appeared for the most part of the convolvulus species as we glanced past them, the orange trees, the clumps of palm and cocoa, the plantain with its gigantic leaves, the fresh green coffee plant, the fields of sugar cane of a still brighter green, the half naked negroes, the low wooden huts, and still more, the scorching sun in the month of November, all was new to us, and sufficient to remind us of the leagues of ocean we had traversed, though this is but a halt on our voyage. At the village where the cars stopped, we listened with much amusement to the story of a fat, comfortable looking individual, who was cured by lightning in the following manner. He was in the last stage of a decline, when, one hot July morning, he was knocked down by a thunderbolt. A ball of fire which entered his side, ran all through his body, and came out at his arm. At the place where the ball made its exit, a large ulcer was formed, and when it dispersed, he found himself in perfect health, in which he has continued ever since. In such cases, the bottled lightning, demanded by Mrs. Nickleby's admirer, might be a valuable remedy. Of course, I could not leave Havana without devoting one morning to shopping. The shops have most seducing names: Hope, Wonder, Desire, etc. The French modistes seem to be wisely improving their time, by charging respectable prices for their work. The shopkeepers bring their goods out to the volante, it not being the fashion for ladies to enter the shops, though I took the privilege of a foreigner to infringe this rule occasionally. Silks and satins very dear, lace and muslin very reasonable, was, upon the whole, the result of my investigation; but as it only lasted 2 hours, and that my sole purchases of any consequences were an indispensable mantilla and a pair of earrings, I give my opinion for the present with due diffidence. I can speak with more decision on the subject of a great ball given us by the Countess F a last evening, which was really superb. The whole house was thrown open; there was a splendid supper, quantities of refreshment, and the whole select aristocracy of Havana. Diamonds on all the women, jewels and orders on all the men, magnificent lustres and mirrors, and a capital band of music in the gallery. The Captain General was the only individual in a plain dress. He made himself very agreeable, in good French. About 100 couples stood up in each country dance, but the rooms are so large and so judiciously lighted that we did not feel at all warm. Waltzes, quadrilles, and these long Spanish dances succeeded each other. Almost all the girls have fine eyes and beautiful figures, but without colour or much animation. The finest diamonds were those of the Countess F a, particularly her necklace, which was undeniable. Walking through the rooms after supper, we were amused to see the negroes and negresses helping themselves plentifully to the sweetmeats, uncorking and drinking fresh bottles of champagne, and devouring everything on the supper tables, without the slightest concern for the presence either of their master or mistress; in fact, behaving like a multitude of spoilt children, who are sure of meeting with indulgence, and presume upon it. Towards morning we were led downstairs to a large souvenir suite of rooms, containing a library of several thousand volumes, where coffee, cakes, etc., were prepared in beautiful Sevres, porcelain and gold plate. We left the house at last to the music of the national hymn of Spain, which struck up as we passed through the gallery. Should the north wind, the dreaded Norte, not blow, we sail to morrow, and have spent the day in receiving farewell visits. We also went to the theatre, where every one predicts we shall not get off to morrow. The play was "Les Gamins de Paris," translated. After our return, I paid a very late visit to the P r family, who live close by us, and now at 2 in the morning I finish my letter sleepily. Many beautiful souvenirs have been sent us, and amongst others the Count de S v has just sent C n a model of the Palace of Madrid, one of the most beautiful and ingenious pieces of workmanship possible. It is carved in wood with astonishing accuracy and delicacy. My next letter will be dated on board the Jason. End of letter the second.